Okay, we're continuing with one-step addition and subtraction equations today. So if you did not understand it yesterday, today is the day to make sure you understand it before we move on. Tomorrow we will be moving on to multiplication and division. So if you're still having a hard time with addition and subtraction, make sure you get it before you leave today. Okay, we're going to go over this one more time. What is an equation? An equation says that two things are equal. So remember, an equation can be 1 plus 1 equals 2. For what we are doing, the equation has a variable. So we have x plus 2 equals 6. So it's the same example I gave you yesterday. Okay, so I put in two easy ones to review from yesterday. I want you to take a minute to do the first one. Use your notes. Go back and look. "12 plus x equals 25. Well, 12 and what other number make 25? Remember, you can use your calculator. What is the inverse of addition? What is the opposite of addition? Remember, when you put it in your box, you want to make sure it's in that same order. So if 12 is first and then it's x, you want to put 12 first and then x.
Okay, so make sure no, mira porque no using the inverse operation. Now, usted va a ir en la caja de adelante. Okay, okay. Here, and that whatever you got. Oh, that's right. I didn't get to see it. Yeah. Are you having them? Are you doing them minus 12, minus 12? We're gonna do that on the side, so I want to get them more into the rhythm of doing it like that today. Yeah. Because next week we're not, I don't want to use bar on next week, because once you get into 2 steps, it's just not efficient. No. I'm kind of using it this way to kind of get them into the idea of what it looks like and what it works. And that's what I was fun. Ken was like, right now, we're giving you problems. We get millions, but that's not the point. The point is learn how to do it.
Because once we get into the harder problems, even tomorrow, it's going to be difficult for you to just be like, oh, I know what it is. Because once we have decimals, that makes it difficult. Even like our next problems are decimals and fractions. Okay, so even if you are not done, I want you to clamshell your laptop real quick. Clamshell it because I know I not close it. Clamshell. That means it's still open. That way I can make sure you're paying attention. Mis dos señores atrás. Okay, when we use our bar model, Jesus, that means you too. You need to make sure that top 2 boxes, you have 12 plus x, correct? So you want to make sure you put the 12 first, the x second, because when we get to the bottom where we have our answers, we want our 12 to match up with 12, and we want our x to match up with its answer. So I have 12 plus x, and 12 plus x equals 25. So remember, we talked yesterday about how we can be decomposing numbers, and we know that 25 is made up of 12 and another number, which I don't know what it is. We also talked about inverse problems. So, if I'm using addition, what is the inverse of addition? What is the opposite? Subtraction. So in order to find my answer, I can do 25 minus 12. So I'm going to bring down the 12, and what did that give me? What is 25 minus 12? It is 13. So what I did notice on some of your classworks is when you went to put in the answer, you kind of gave me, like if I gave you this problem, you did 12 plus 13 equals 25. Make sure in your solution box, I'm just getting x equals your answer, 13. Because if not, I'm not sure if you know what x equals. Today we're going to get into more of this. So I showed you yesterday how to work out our problems like this. We're going to work our problems out more like this today. Why? Because moving into tomorrow, this is going to be more difficult than if I was doing it like this, which is still the same thing. Again, we said we have addition. In order to get rid of 12, I have to do the inverse, which is the opposite. So I'm going to do minus 12. What is 12 minus 12? It gives me 0. So I'm going to cross this out. I don't need to write 0 down here. I'm just going to bring down the x. Whatever I do on one side, I do on the other. So what is 25 minus 12? We said it was 13. So see, it's the same answer. So on the second problem, I want you to try doing it like this in your notebook. 25 equals x minus 12 in your notebook. En sus libretas. Ok, Santiago, ahora te lo comparto otra vez. $25 equals x minus 12. What is the inverse of subtraction? Especially on the days that they're cutting the grass. That's my favorite. Don't worry about what's already on the board. I didn't even have to say it.
Yeah, you would do X and then Y, but I want you to
Okay,
solve
alright, la idea es que salga de ahí solita. Entonces, yo tengo negativo lo que está, ¿no? ¿Cuál es la ecuación? ¿Cómo me lo sé? Sí, ¿verdad? Lo primero que no es para más, porque yo quiero eliminar la idea es eliminar. La idea es yo quiero eliminar esta variable de
Okay, so take a peek up here real quick. Put your pencil down. I know you're working diligently on this. So I'm going to do this one. Remember, our goal is to get our variable by itself, our x. So I know I came around and I saw a couple of you moving different numbers. If I want to get my x by itself, what do I need to get rid of? The 25 or the 12? I need to get rid of the 12. So what's the inverse of subtraction? Plus or addition. So I'm going to do plus 12. And remember, whatever I do on one side, I need to do on the other. So I'm going to do plus 12. What is minus 12 plus 12 give me? What does it give me? It gives me 0. So I'm not going to put anything other than the x down here. What is 25 plus 12? I'm going to start picking names. 37. So x equals 37. I know some of you still use the box, and you did this. And then we had 12, and we got 37. I'm still getting some people that are putting smaller numbers here. If you're using...
Pardon the interruption. And all the hoopla that was happening this morning, I forgot to celebrate a very special staff birthday. And that birthday shout out goes to Miss Barbario in the house. So happy birthday, Miss Barbario. You're still very important to us. It was just a little crazy here in the main office, a little distracted, but your team loves you. They made sure I got it done. So let's wish her a happy birthday today. And if you're in her class, give her a special shout out. Thank you.
You have to make sure that once you have your answer, I'm seeing people aren't checking. So if I'm checking, I'm doing 25 equals x minus 12. I'm going to plug in 37 minus 12, and that gives me 25. On the classwork yesterday, I had people putting like 8 or something. Well, 8 minus 12 is not going to give me 25. So if you're checking, you should be doing fine. If you're not checking and just putting the random answer you get, then that's going to be a problem. Okay, I told you we're moving on to things that were harder today. So we're going to be looking at fractions and decimals. Fractions and decimals. So I'll show you how to do it using the bar. And then we're going to do it using our other method. So watch before you write it down. So we have 7 3/5 plus x equals 10 3/4. I'm going to set it up the same way I normally would. I'm going to bring down that 7 3/5, and I'm going to bring down my x. Then I'm going to do 7 3/5 plus x equals 10 3/4. And then finally, I'm going to bring down 7 3/5 again. Now keep in mind, when I have a number like 25 and then 5, and what else gives me 25? This is easy. Because I can just do, oh, I know 20 plus 5 gives me 25. When I have a fraction, you have to do the work. You can't just say, I think I know what that is. You can't know what this is. So, what is the inverse of addition? What is the opposite of addition? What is it? Subtraction. So I'm going to do 10 3/4 minus 7 3/5. Plug it in your calculators. I'm not going to do it for you. I'm going to have to carry my phone around because my headphones died. Hopefully you can all still hear me. Okay. What is 10 3/4 minus 7 3/5? Louder. That wasn't louder. It's 7. I want to see it on your papers, people. Everybody plug it in your calculator. Let's see it. Where is it? Calculator.
Yeah, you have to move it the other way around. This has to be
Calculator. Let's go.
Subtract it this away. Because you don't do it like that, you'll end up with a negative when you should have a positive. So what you're taking away is the 7 3/5. So that has to come away.
If you're not practicing using your calculator, you won't know how to do it good.
You gotta do this.
Good. Good.
Okay.
There is that reason. Very good. Awesome.
Plug it in.
So we gotta do this and then
Okay, so we should have gotten 3 3/10, right? 3/20. 3/20. So this is my one thing with the bar model. I like it. It helps you understand it a little bit better. But because you don't have it set up like this, where you can see what you're subtracting, I have people subtracting the numbers backwards, which will not get you the right answer. So if I'm doing the inverse and I want to get x by itself, we said we have to subtract. So I am subtracting 7 3/5, which gives me 0. I bring down my x. Then I do 10 minus 7 3/5. So what I saw on many of your calculators was 7 3/5 minus 10 3/4. No. When we write it out like this, you can see what number goes on top and what number goes on the bottom. So that means you would put in your calculator the number that's on top first and the number that's on bottom second. So 10 3/4 minus 7 3/5. So make sure moving forward, we are going to be using this more. So let's go ahead and do 4.21 equals 2.98 plus x. I want you to do it using this method. I'm going to set it up for you and everything. Even though you can't see my plus x, I did write it in your notebook because I want you to have an example. Write it in your notebook. I love you, but I do not want to see the bar model in your notebook. Not for this one. Make sure you want to get x by itself. So which number are you going to be working with?
Oh, you're writing down my. I was like, what's happening? Where's the other one? We're going to write down that.
When you have those two, they just cancel out from nothing. So what's left over here?
If those of you at home can't hear me, please let me know. I'm going to take my headphones out.
And now you do this number, and you put it here.
I'm talking away, Rob.
Okay,
Okay, good. And I didn't get to see everybody, but I liked that everybody made sure they were moving the right number. So I want to get x by itself. So what number am I moving? My what? 2.98. What is the inverse of addition? Subtraction. So I'm subtracting 2.98 on both sides. So remember, 2.98 minus 2.98 gives me 0. So all I bring down is that x. 4.21 minus 2.98 gives me what? 1. Is it 21? 23? Thank you. 1.23. So x equals 1.23. Make sure you have this copied in your notebook. Those of you at home, same. Make sure you are copying this in your notebook. You'll need it.
The way that I know is because
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and erase.
make sure you put plus or minus with your name, so you don't get the wrong thing, okay? It'll help keep you from making mistakes later.
Okay, we're looking at decimals and fractions again. So, I want you to, again, stay away from this. I want you to work out r minus 3.4 equals 13.1. I want to see that one on your screen. You can do it in your notebook and then put your answer on the screen. That is fine.
What number is with your
It says r minus, so you need to think about the inverse. What is the opposite of subtraction?
The idea is I'm going to just look at all by myself. But it's not by myself. So this this is numbers we added together, so I want to take this number. But I have to do it on the side, so it's scale. It's always equal if I add things to both sides and take things away from both sides, right? If I take something away from one, then it goes like this. So if I take it from both, it's
La letra se tiene
right?
que quedar sola.
So I have to take it from both.
Si la letra se tiene que quedar sola.
Which here, this take away this is nothing. So let's take away this. But the okay.
Aquí está.
So, sorry, so two examples.
No hay
R minus.
no debajo de la
Oh, you don't paper first. I want to see it written out, the way that she had it written out on paper first. Because if you do not get these habits, you're not going to be able to solve the problems that you have to be able to solve later. Let's see, you got on paper?
Very good.
Okay, let's see it, let's go, paper.
Don't use that. I want to see it like this, and I want to see it on paper first. Okay? So that's, so these capital use the other place, because, this is what we do. In algebra, we use lowercase. So. Very good. So yeah, that's all you have to show them here. You can just write it as R. And then under it, plus 3.4 equals, plus 3.4, and then R equals this. Very good.
So why are the answers so much? You don't know,
Good.
and erase them.
Very good. So you did
Okay,
that.
I'm gonna call on somebody that I saw do it, and you're gonna walk me through it. Marisol, how comfortable do you feel explaining it to me? Okay? Okay, so what am I doing on this side? Okay, am I adding it or subtracting it? Adding it, good, because we want to do the inverse. What happens here? It gives me 0, so I'm going to go ahead and cross it out and bring down my R. What do I do over here? I'm adding what? I'm adding 3.4, because remember, whatever you do on this side, you do on the other, because you want to balance those out. So what was 13.1 plus 3.4? 16.5. Very nice. Now, if you have not already started it, and I want to see the work for it, not just the answer, go ahead and do the second one. Here. Go. Unless you want me to hover. I like to stand over people while they work to make sure they get it done.
Use a letter like T right in the bottom so that you know it's a T and not a plus.
I do need to do that. My bad. I just need to stop using T's. That's what I need to do.
I hate use those letters.
We're gonna pretend that this T, and it's happened before, because then people end up doing the plus sign.
That's right.
We're gonna change that into an S. Huh? Changing that T to an S, people.
Yeah. So 24 and a half. On one side, on the other side says S minus 5 and 4.
Oh, yeah. What should I wear today?
It's gonna be cold, you gotta go outside. And remember, this line is saying that things are equal. So your confidence above it. Okay, so where do I start? Identify your what? Yep, so I need you to write this down so you remember. So the first thing you need to do is find variable. Okay, so here, here's variable. So step 2 is whatever is with my variable, what do we have to do? We have to start trying to eliminate, right? So we're going to cancel numbers with variable by numbers. Okay, it's opposite operation.
Well, good, he can work it out.
Okay. So this is 1, this is 2. So this being subtracted, what do I have to do? No.
No,
Inverse
you're
is
fine, so
subtraction.
you don't get the plus.
Inverse. Yeah, inverse is
So
opposite.
you did that, so this, if you plug it in your calculator, it says if it was a negative, right? So negative 5 is 1/4 plus 5 is 1/4.
So over here, if I'm adding and subtracting the same number, it just
So
becomes
now where do you
zero.
put it on this side?
That's what I mean by
That's
constant.
what I'm gonna do.
What's left?
Or plus 5
Just S. And it's going to equal whatever this is. Does that make sense? Okay, so the way that I know what I'm getting, what I'm adding or subtracting both sides, is it's the number that's with my variable. Okay? I need to see what on
You don't want
paper.
me to hover, so I want to just.
You can't have this unless you work on paper. Or
Cute. Uh-huh.
Okay, so it looks for the most part like we're either done and writing a couple things down on the screen to finish, or just done. So, what is the inverse of subtraction? What is it? Addition. So I'm adding 5 and 1/4 to both sides. I like to do it all at once, but I know some of you like to do one side and then the other. That's fine. So if I plug this in my calculator, what does it give me? Gives me 0. So I'm going to go ahead and cross that out because I don't need to write 0. And I'm going to bring down the S equals. What is 24 and 1/2 plus 5 and 1/4? 29 and 3/4. Make sure that when you're rewriting your numbers, you're checking to make sure it's right, because I did see 1 or 2 people write the wrong fractions just because when they went from one side to the other, they changed it a little bit. But just be careful with that. So that is our answer. Let me see what slide we're on. Okay, let's do one more. This is a little bit different. So Raul's sister is 6 years older than he is. What is... No, I'm going to pause this here. I don't want to confuse us right now. So we're going to stop here. I'm going to give you some time to work on your classwork. I would like to do some extra practice problems the last 10 minutes of class. So I'm going to give you from now until 10:15 to work on your classwork. So go ahead and do that. So van a estar trabajando en su classwork de ahora hasta las 10:15. So go ahead, click, classwork. Y a las 10:15 vamos a hacer unos cuantos problemas más.
No, it says 6 years older than us.
Yeah.
But
I don't.
Gentlemen, let's go. Work. Use your notebook. Work those out. Drag and drop the correct problems. If you need more paper, you know where to find it, and if you don't, just let me know.
I didn't realize my headphones were charged on the computer. The headphones have to charge on the phone. So I had it plugged in yesterday. Para ver nothing charged. ¿Por qué se te acabó la foto? Porque uno te llamó yo. La tengo.
If you need help, make sure to raise your hand, we're coming around.
Where is it? I wanted to see how we did it.
Start with what you know. If there's something that you're confused about, then come back to it at the end.